Hello and welcome everybody to our today's Tech Talk. It's the Christmas edition, and are very happy to have managed to organize the last Catalonia Tech Talk here in our channel, just a few days before Christmas, and with very special guests. So we're closing our Catalonia Tech Talk series with one final session about digital divide and how overcoming is the key to achieving equality in an increasingly interconnected world. The initiative DFA Digital für alle, which aims at digital inclusion in civil society, will explain how it works towards closing the digital divide in Germany through different means such as publishing database studies and bringing forward recommendation to policymakers. It also hosts the yearly conference Digitaltag and awards a prize to entities promoting digital integration. And on the other hand, we will also receive an overview of the situation in Catalonia from the Taula del Tercer Sector Social, an institution of public interest representing more than 3,000 entities of the third social sector in Catalonia. Their M4 Social project aims to digitally empower society by means of advocacy, the publication of the Catalan Digital Index in collaboration with the Universitat Oberta de Catalunya, and capacity building. So our speakers today are Linda Machwitz. She is Managing Director at the DFA für alle GmbH, a non-profit initiative for digital inclusion in civil society. DFA is in English initiatives, works to overcome the digital gap in Germany by different means, such as publishing digital database studies, bringing forward recommendations to policymakers, and organizing a yearly Digitaltag, as we said before, and award the best projects in the sector of integration. Then we have David Fito from Catalonia, member of the board, responsible for innovation at the M4 Social and Taula del Tercer Sector Social de Catalunya. And also Marta Campo, responsible for international relations and EU projects at Taula del Tercer Sector Social de Catalunya. So welcome to the three of you. We, as we are used to this format, maybe it's not necessary to explain it, but for all who are new and in the room, we will have keynote speeches by our speaker that last like 10 minutes each. And after this half an hour, you will have the opportunity to raise your questions, write inquiries. For all that are connected via YouTube, please write your questions into the comment section. And they're connected with Zoom, please write your questions in the chat. And we will then open in the second half of this webinar the room for questions and for our public. The webinar will be closed at 1 o'clock, and afterwards you always can access to the YouTube video, and we recommend to share it with your friends, relatives, or other people interested in the topic. So digital divide, digital gap, and how to overcome it. Let's start then with Linda Machwitz. Linda Machwitz, happy to have you here with us today.
Yes, thank you so much. And thanks for having me. And hi, everyone. So as 10 minutes are very short, I will start ahead and share my screen with you. I hope so that you now can see the presentation. But I need to go to the first page. So perfect. Okay, great to, thanks for having me. And I'm happy to share some insights on facts and figures about digital inclusion in Germany and the digital divide we need to overcome and we want to overcome as an initiative. So let's start right ahead. First of all, when we talk about digital inclusion, there is no like such a common definition. So I would like to share with you how we define digital inclusion. And there's one paper we published where we say digital inclusion means that everyone can navigate the digital world confidently and securely, independently and self-confidently. So that doesn't mean that everybody has to use every gadget and every device, but it means that people should be able to decide whether they need digital device or not, and that they just can decide on their own and do this self-confidently. And there are 3 pillars or 3 basic requirements which or boxes you need to tick to make sure that people can take part in the more digital world. And first of all, on the left side, it's about access. So about infrastructure and about hardware. So if you don't have access to the internet, or you don't have a smartphone or a computer, then it's hard to take part and to participate in the digital world. So I think this is the basic requirement for digital inclusion at that point. And then even if you have access and maybe the right hardware, of course you need the right knowledge and skills, like, for example, what is how do I use the tools, what is a good password, all of this. So I think that's the second pillar where we as an initiative also want to strengthen people and strengthen the digital knowledge in Germany. And on the right side, this is also really important, because even if you have, for example, access to the internet, you have a smartphone or a computer, you have the right skills, then it also can happen that you can't take part in the digital world because of lack of accessibility or a design which is not made for everyone using digital tools. So these 3 pillars we are working in, and these 3 pillars are, from our point of view, the key requirements to strengthen and to strengthen digital inclusion and to close the digital gap. So there's maybe a little basic before I will jump into the numbers, because we as an organization, I will talk about this later, we are, for example, organizing an action day every year. This is the Digitaltag, or the Digital Day, which takes part across entire Germany. And every year, this is in June, and to have like a database also there, we ask more than 1,000 people, starting from the age of 16, about how they feel about the digital gap and the digital inclusion. And I would like to start with a very positive result, as the clear majority of 88% sees digitalization as an opportunity for our society. And you can see on the right side, this is across nearly all age groups. So there is only a little decrease in the very old age group from 75 and plus years, but also there are more than 3 who say it's an opportunity. So just to start with a very good news at this end, so people see all in all digitalization as an opportunity for our society. But of course, there are also some darker sides on this topic. And so let's see at the first, maybe we asked some statements and asked people if they agree or not. And on the left side, you can see that nearly 80% say digital devices and applications make their life easier. So digital devices are a part of everyday life, and people say they make their life easier. And quite the same amount said, but it's also saying, I would like to use more digital services in my everyday life. So people know that digital items and digital gadgets can make their life easier, but they also say, I would like to do more. So I would like to learn more. I would like to, to have more knowledge to use this. Then you can see at the same time, almost half of people in Germany. Oh no, I'm sorry. I skipped the middle. So then we see that 80% say that people who are not familiar with digital devices are facing increasing difficulties in everyday life. And more than half says rich people have better access to the digital world. So there we see digital inclusion is also a question of your income, of your money, and also of the question of knowledge and skills. So this is a statement where most of the people agree. And then on the right side, and I think this is something we are afraid of, and we think we should be alarmed, because nearly half of people in Germany say, I'm afraid I won't be able to keep up with technological developments. This is a number which increased in the last years. We think it's because of AI, for example, because people see, oh wow, technology is developing, and I can't keep up the pace. And 16%, but it's really every sixth person is this who says, I would prefer to live in a world without digital technologies, and in a world where digitalization is rising, and we have a lot of digital services, or services which are only available in a digital way. I think this is really alarming, and that's why we want to work on closing this gap. So then another number I brought to you is how often do people feel overwhelmed by digital technologies? And we see that this is more than a third who said they are often overwhelmed by digital technologies. Of course, on the other hand, there are more than 60% who says were saying they are rarely overwhelmed, but 37%. This is a big number, and here we can see on the right side there is a strong increase, significant increase when it comes to the elderly age group. So I think especially there in the age group from 65 to 74 and from 75 plus years, we need to take action. We need to help people to get along with digital technologies, but also in the younger age groups, a third is not that's such a small number. So there is a lot to do to work out that people don't feel overwhelmed. We want to help them that they can use technology in a way that they feel self-confident and know what they are doing, because every time you feel overwhelmed, you have bad feelings like you're scared, you're afraid, and this is exactly what we don't want to have when we talk about digitalization. And then this is a question we asked since 2022. And unfortunately, you see that the numbers are increasing. So we asked our participants, to what extent do you think the society in Germany is digitally divided? And this year, more than 2/3 said we are divided, our society is divided, and only 29% said we are not divided. And as you can see, the answer divided is rising. Now it's a significant rise from 2022 to this year. And this is quite alarming, because I think our society is divided in so many cases, in political questions, in a lot of questions, in questions of wealth and all of this. And we would like to reach a state where digitalization is something which can build a bridge and not divide people. So this is quite alarming, and this is why we are trying and working on closing this digital gap. And here, just to show you in a very few minutes who we are and what we do. So we are a partner network of more than 25 initiatives, which come from nearly every sector. So from civil society, like for example, the AWO, which you can see on, which is the first logo there, which is in the public welfare sector, then from culture, from business, science, and of course also the public sector, because we need the cities, and we need them to reach the people. And our common goal is to promote digital participation towards policy, but also to the civil society, and to strengthen digital inclusion in Germany. And how we do this is the last slide, and then I'm happy to answer your questions afterwards. So we have basically like 3 pillars where we're working in. The first, and I think our biggest project, is the Digitaltag, or Digital Action Day. It's a annual nationwide action day where we have more than 2,500 events every year. So we don't organize all of these events. We ask people in Germany, we ask organizations, we ask NGOs, nonprofits, we ask business partners. So everyone can take part and can start an own event. These events are like, they are free of charge. You can just take part in entire Germany. And for example, this could be a panel discussion. This could be a workshop on 3D printing. This could be something like you have maybe something like you can put on a VR glasses to try this out, or something that you can go to your city and they can tell you how you can do the public services online. So it's a really wide range of events which should help people to step into the digital world. And so I think this number is not quite correct. We had in 2024 we had 50,000 participants. This year there were 70,000. So we see the numbers rising, and we're really happy about this, because we would love to have everyone in Germany take part at the Digitaltag. And that's why I asked you to save the date. So the 26th June is the next Digitaltag, where you can take part for free. So links I will send afterwards. And we also see their long-term effect that most of the organizers, 66%, so this is quite a high number, feel encouraged by participating in Digital Day to further expand their offerings they do the entire year. So this is the first pillar. The second pillar is it's an award for, I think it's hard to translate. So in Germany, we say Preis für digitales Miteinander. It's an award for digital engagement, maybe, or digital engagement and participation. And there we are looking for projects, for nonprofit projects who help people step into the digital world. In summer, we do this with top class jury members who sort out the best projects. And in winter, last week, we awarded 2 projects which won the People Choice Award. So there is a big voting every year where our website, where 2 projects won about 2,500 euro prize money. And then if we don't have the Digitaltag or our awards, then we do a lot in events and content. So we do a lot of workshops, for example, for digital accessibility or digital inclusion. We do a lot of lectures, studies and handouts. On our website, you can find a lot about, for example, how to use AI for the welfare sector, something like this. And we have also a program which is called Digital für alle Coffee Break. I think it's a bit similar to these tech talks. So it's a really easy to access online format once a month, every last Friday of the month, where we talk about digital inclusion, show great examples on this topic, and where we just want to help people gain knowledge and to step into the digital world. And so these are 3 pillars we are working in, and our aim is from to reach a politics, so really high level to really low level to the civil organizations and civil participants. So I think this is the way we try to work, and we do this now since 2019, and we see it's growing. People taking part in our offerings, and I think that's the important thing. But in the end, we can't do this alone. So so I think digital inclusion is something you need everyone and everybody to have this. But I think it's important that we as an organization promote this day by day. So thank you very much. If you have any questions here, you can find all of our options to contact us. Please feel free to do this if there are any questions, but of course we can also talk afterwards. Thanks a lot. Oh, Marie, I think you're muted.
Muted. I'm muted. Okay, thank you very much now for this very interesting presentation, and I have already some questions for asking afterwards. And everybody, please save the date for the Digitaltag and for the digital coffees for alle. I would like to hand over to David Fito. Please open your camera. David Fito, welcome.
Yes, I'm here. Good morning.
What about Taula Tercer Sector? What about your organization?
Yes, I'm going to explain you first in a general way. Thank you very much, Mari, and thank you, Linda, for this excellent approach and to understand the work that you do, and also the approach of the digital situation in Germany also. Marta and me, and we are going to share you, first of all, what is Taula Entitats del Tercer Sector Social and for Social project, and then Marta will go deeper in the digital divide index, okay? We work in Taula Entitats del Tercer Sector Social that first in the context of Spain, you must know that Spain is a country with almost 50 million inhabitants. It's organized in a parliamentary monarchy with a territorial division. In red, you have Catalonia. Each territory has different competences. Some are shared, for example, health or education are held between the general government and the government in each region, and other ones are exclusive, like social services, okay? Catalonia is this red territory with 8 million people, and more or less it's 19% of GDP, okay, of Spain. Here, the third sector in Catalonia show these figures with an increasing number of people being served due to the current social context. We say that we have more or less 2 million people beneficiaries, and with other numbers that you have here on the screen. The Taula del Tercer Sector Social is a third-level organization that brings together 37 federations that represent more than 3,100 entities, okay? And here on the map, you can see these entities, how are distributed in the territory of Catalonia, okay? These are the 37 federations. These are the main areas of care covered by this federation, like job placement, health, drug addictions, migration and refugees, poverty and exclusion, elderly age, childhood, adolescence and youth, and mental health and disabilities. It doesn't mean that each federation has only one of these. Sometimes they work more than one of these main areas, okay? We work in Taula Entitats del Tercer Sector. We work in dedicated groups designed to respond to the shared needs of our federation. And for social is a group that work for digital transformation, okay? We call and for social digital innovation with social perspective. And for social, through this project, the third sector platform want to promote and catalyze the digital transformation of third sector entities, as well as influence to the generation of an ecosystem of digital innovation in the social needs. In the social field, sorry, the needs detected, and currently maybe these are the main needs, is the transformation and modernization of digital tools, the construction of capacity building for people, the competences of people, of digital competences, the interoperability between enabling organization and administration that we work for, enhance the cybersecurity, improve data collection and analysis because we have a lack of open databases, or it means that we have a lack of knowledge about our own activity, okay? And we need to increase knowledge about the situation, and that's the reason why we do some studies like these ones that you have here on the screen that you can through the QR code you can consult. The first one is, for example, on a radar of algorithms used in the third sector. Okay, the second one is the the situation of the simplification processes with the administration. And the third one is the state of digitalization in the third sector, for example, okay? And we try to update this kind of reports sometimes in the year. Okay? And for social, the current projects that I want to explain before to go deeper to the Digital Divide Index, we are working now in an open data space for social sector. We are designing and developing an open data analytics environment, and the third sector entities will use. Okay, examples of this data, for example, data budgets, waiting lists of different areas of attention, procedures, subsidy resolution, for example, and we think that we have the possibility to share or to scale this at European and international level. Another example of our work or projects is Symbiotic, that it's a next-gen project that we are finishing now this month. It's a project, a co-created project that consists on an open source CRM for social organizations that permits interoperability with different national platforms and lets the organization management of each one, okay? And we have a participation more or less than 80 organizations crossing data and analytics, okay? And we call future projects, but we are already doing this. And the third one is a chatbot for social assistance. We are promoting the launch of an international artificial intelligence chatbot that can help all citizens of Catalonia to facilitate access to economic benefits and social services as a whole. We have the collaboration with Barcelona City Council that has already some examples of chatbot to manage the access to economic benefits, and we would like to do it with all the benefits that the citizens can get here in Catalonia. Okay, and another example is what we call Social. The Catalan administration have different tools to integrate their systems, but we miss a tool that integrate the social services that we provide as an entities, and we are doing as a public services. And we would like that this is integrated with all the ecosystem to optimize the resources and the work that we do, only to put once in a computer, and it's not necessary to repeat it again just to send this information to the administration, for example. Okay. And now Marta will continue the explanation, more focused on the Catalan Digital Divide Index.
Good morning. Hi, everyone. Thank you very much, David, and thank you to all of you to be here, and also to the Catalan delegation to give us this opportunity. So let's go into the Catalan Digital Divide Index and what is this project and why is it useful for not only for Taula but for the social sector in Catalonia in its whole. And we will also be analyzing how it can be useful as well as a higher scale. And this we will make you, we will show you some kind of some ideas we have. So let's get into it. If I can change, okay. So what's the Catalan Digital Divide Index? It is an index that is designed to measure and reduce digital inequalities in Catalonia because, as David mentioned, we are lacking data. We know there is, or we knew, and we all know that there is this digital divide, but we are lacking data to prove it. No, so we have analyzed all the possible inequalities that they exist in terms of access to, use of, and quality of the technology. And we have put all these data together in an innovative and pioneering way. Why? Because it is based on administrative and transactional data from both public and private actors. This is something that in Catalonia hasn't happened yet before. And it is very interesting because all the data or some of the data is there. But what we wanted to do was to pick data from different actors that were not put together or were not putting together before and analyze all this data in order to have some results with a different perspective. In our case, with social perspective. So from now until now, the data we had was mainly from surveys with the limitations that this entails. They permit us to do some quality approach, but we are lacking some perspective and also some other ways to analyze it, no? As mentioned. So the first step has been to take with the design an initial version of the index that aims to build many more alliances among the actors working to combat the digital divide in Catalonia. This index, as mentioned here, is intended to drive concrete policies and actions in the fight against the digital divide. And how have we done it? We have taken health department data from Catalonia, so public data. We have taken data from two big banks in Catalonia, which is private data, and we have put them together also with all the rest of public data with a social perspective, socioeconomical data and information, access, territorial information as well, and we have put it all together. So this is the methodology. We have reviewed experiences at international and national level. How many index are there? Are they doing what we need? Do we have all the answers that we are looking for with all the products that we already have? The answer was clearly no. So what we have done as well, and that has been really interesting, it has been a co-creation process. We take public data, we take non-public data for the first time, and we produce an index that focus on the gaps in the society and the differences in the society and discriminations and possible discriminations in the society, with the objective of doing as well political advocacy in order to make things done better. And now you will see, because we have some example. For doing this, it has had to be a consensus between Taula d'Entitats del Tercer Sector Social, which is civil society, organized civil society, and the involved stakeholders, in a dialogue that hasn't happened before in Catalonia, especially with banking, for example, and also with public administrations as well. Not in these terms, not for these objectives. So we have chosen the indicators. We have created a composite index, which means that we have taken the most relevant indicators and we have crossed it and we have analyzed them together in order to show from a social perspective how this divide is, how it can be intersectional, how it can be crossed with different discriminations in our society. We don't have only one point of view, we don't have only one look at it, we are looking at it from a multiple perspective, and this enriches the analysis and the index, and also it puts on the table the fact that digital divide is not only a technological gap, but it's also a rights gap. If you don't have access to the technology, if you don't have access to the information, you are lacking information regarding your own rights. And this is the main point of the discrimination and what we are also defending from Taula. We have created also a dashboard. You will see it in 2 seconds. And it's interesting as well because we have developed it at a county level, which is a smaller level than the regional one you saw in David's presentation. This also helps us to be able to find or to see or to identify more territorial differences and gaps. So the dimensions of the digital divide is infrastructure, equipment, and use as well. This is an example of an indicator. This is based on an app that we have in Catalonia for access the health services, okay? And here it's how many users this app has, okay? So here we can see clearly a territorial divide where the the areas, sorry, the areas that are closest to Barcelona, which is the capital, are, they are using it more. And then as you are, going farther from Barcelona, things are the access is getting tougher and tougher. But then we have also analyzed a service that it is in this app, which is the e-consulting. You can ask things to your doctor through this app. And here we see as well that this is something that is more used as well, maybe also in different. So what is happening here? There is more need because maybe in these counties there is less presence of doctors, so people are using also this app more often. Why is it happen this? So maybe this index is not answering all the questions, but it's helping us to put on the table the right questions. Sorry, it is not giving us a lot of answers, but it's helping us to put on the table the right questions. This is the synthetic index as well, where we have taken some information about the gap and about different information. One thing that we have seen that it's very interesting as well is something that has to do with the banking app use. So the private app and the private information from the banks and the public information and the app and the public app, the health app. So people is using more and more the bank app than the health app. This is something that has to do, of course, with design, with use, and also with information that is given from the administration. And this gives us a lot of ground to do some political advocacy as well regarding this. This is an example on one of the counties. So here you can see all the indicators that we have selected. This is a county that is far away from Barcelona. And here you can see the results of this county compared with the results in the whole Catalonia. So in the average of Catalonia. So you can also find out where the gaps are bigger here in this particular territory, which is very interesting as well. So the main conclusions is, despite the widespread coverage, rural and mountainous areas are experiencing a significant digital infrastructure gap. ECT equipment is almost universal in Catalan households. We all have devices. Basic internet is used from a widespread perspective, but there are specific gaps in specific uses and in access to public digital services, as mentioned with the health app. And there is this 20-point gap between users who interact with online banking and those who use the My Health digital service. Despite this good ICT provision in households, and this is something also very interesting, there is a notable inequalities in digital resources available in educational centers. So this is really interesting because with different databases, health databases, public databases, and private databases, we are also knowing what is happening in the education centers as well. So we also have this point of view from an education perspective, which is also something that helps us enriching our analysis and also focus our political advocacy in these territories where this is happening. So the most pronounced gap is age-related. We knew that, but now we have data to support this. And there is also a significant socio-economic gap. No significant gender gaps have been identified. And now in terms of future, what we would like to do with this index, what are our plans? So we would like to expand and consolidate this index. We now have this public data from the health department. We have this banking data from the private area. But we would like to have more data. We would like to have some telecom companies' data as well in order to be able to see how are things crossing all these databases also with this kind of data. We would like to cross data also with other countries in Europe, with other territories in Europe, in a smaller and in a bigger scale. So we would like to increase the number of actors involved. We would like to create this digital divide observatory in Catalonia, but also we would like to export all this information, all this knowledge, all this way of analyzing things abroad. And that's one of the main reasons we are here today, explaining to you this, hoping that you find it interesting. So we would like also, taking into account the times that we're living in Europe and then the whole world, we would like also to be able to scale this in a European and international perspective and be able to build a shared strategy. So as mentioned before, this index is intended to drive concrete policies and actions in the fight against the digital divide, which is actually a fight for our social rights. And I think, yeah, with this, thank you very much. I hope the timings are well and we have time to questions and answers, which will be really, really interesting. Thank you very much. Vielen Dank.
Thank you very much, Marta Campo and David Vidal. Very interesting presentations as well. So maybe I would invite you, I would like Linda Machwitz, Marta Campo and David Vidal to open your videos, because we are entering now the Q&A round. And we have a lot of food for thought now. And I'm very happy, at least as that's the minimum, to being able to help to build these bridges that you are looking for. And as your approaches are a bit different, I think, but very complementing. So maybe that's a good ground for future talks as well. I would love to see that. I would like to start with 2 questions, like if there's nobody having a question, a burning question right now. But just a small reminder, please ask your questions in the chat of the YouTube chat, or here in the chat room in Zoom, or raise your hand and open your camera. You are also very welcome to ask your questions yourself, for all those who are in the room. So listening to you, I was thinking that maybe there are things we can work on and we can't work on. So we're not able to flatten the mountains in order to get better access, or put everybody closer to Barcelona and the Catalan on the Catalan side, or on the German side, maybe make everybody be younger in order to have better access. So I think there is a topic of literacy, like that people, if they have the technical access to internet, they feel able or enabled to work with the offer, the digital offer that they can that institutions provide. And the other thing is the technical connection, but Marta Campos said at least in Catalonia it's not an issue, so more or less everybody has an internet connection. So maybe it's more the literacy and the educational part, also for the elephant in the room, that is, once you have accessed internet, we should try not to be open to all this propaganda information that is looking for new new victims. Use the internet as a empowered part of the society, and not as somebody who's guided from, who's getting guided. So what's your approach on this? What's your take on improving, once you have access to the internet, make a good use of it? Feel
Who
free.
wants to start? David, I think you were the first to unmute it. So if you want to start.
It was just 1 second of difference.
Yeah.
No, I point only one thing, and then we can open this interesting question. It's true that, for example, we cannot go closer to Barcelona, or we cannot change your age, as the graphics explain. But it's true that, for example, in our index, what we see is that in counties that are beside each other, we can see differences between them. And then that's the point, very interesting in that sense, because maybe you have the same reality, but there are other things that happen there that makes differences there. I mean, that we have, for example, some rural areas that are with less divide than other ones, okay? And is this our first year with this information? So I think that the next steps are going deeper on these differences to understand what happened and which are the factors that makes this difference in each place, okay? Or maybe I think that we can say the same in the age graphs, okay, graphics, that we can see differences between ages, but which is the differences in one place and not in the other one, that in the same age, we have different divide. Okay, just like a general approach, but I want to point out this because I think that it's interesting, because if not, it's like very simple to understand things, and it's not so simple because we have the same reality in places and are closer to other places that are not the same. Okay?
Yeah, it's a good point.
So I think in Germany, most of the people also have access, not everybody, but when we go to the, like I had on the slides, to the second pillar about skills and digital literacy, I think there are two main approaches we should focus on. First of all, it's to get digital literacy and digital skills more into schools. So I think in Germany, this is a big problem. Our schools are sometimes like in the medieval times when you look at them. So there is nothing digital. So sometimes you have one class which has tablets, and this is like, wow, we have a tablet class, something like this. So I think we need to, and with I think it's mainly policy. So we can, of course, address the policy, but policymakers and policy and decision makers have to change the way digital knowledge and digital skills are trained in school, because in school we have everybody. So we have people with low income, kids with low income, we have kids with parents with high income, we have everybody there. So I think this is the first approach and the first area where we should focus on. And then looking at elderly people or people in who are working or who are already have retired. So they, of course, you have, for example, the workplace, which has the opportunity to train their workers. So I think this is really important to also to make sure and to put the point on the finger on this, to make sure that if you are a company, that you have that you should train your workers and you should train your employees there. And for people who are not in a working situation, there we see that it's very important that we have like peer-to-peer training sessions. So elderly people love to talk to other elderly people, and they love to train each other. So maybe I know how to use a smartphone and the other one knows how I can get an email account. And then you have you are talking on an eye level, and we see that this is working very, very well. So I think this maybe as 3 approaches or 3 action items we in Germany should definitely take more care of.
Yeah, if I may, I would like to add something at this, which I think are super interesting thoughts. But I think that with both projects, also there are both super innovative because they have put together the academia, private sector, public sector, social sector, media sector, not only from an analytic point of view and data gathering point of view, also from alliances with the DFA as well, no? Like the fact that putting all these actors together and generating new ways of conversations, new ways of approaching things, also from the social perspective as well, because public sector and private sector talk, but they talk about other things. They don't talk about these things with this perspective, with this approach, with this methodology, no? And the fact that we are kind of adapting our languages with the social vision, I think this is something that can generate a change in our environment, right? And it's super interesting the data that also combines the use of the app. Like the banking app is more used because it's more easy, because the private sector is, you know, years away of the public one in terms of designing, because they have, you know, already studied all of this and analyzed all of this. No, public sector is always let's generate this conversation, and let's generate also this responsibility from the private sector in order for them to let the public sector access this kind of designs and access this kind of, you know, of user-friendly approaches, no? And this is something that it's being possible. There is a lot of path still, you know, to walk, but there is something that it's you know, now starting to grow, and this is interesting. Let's talk with let's make all different sectors talk with this social perspective. And I think this is super interesting, and also from your presentation, Linda, amazing.
I won't learn it. So, Marta, talking about, you mentioned user-friendly this interface design, which is like a key question. And I would like to pick up this idea and put it in contrast with requirements for data protection and security. So talking about banking apps, for instance, so each time there's one step more in order to like, or even the public resources, maybe they are more like even more strict about data protection, and they put even more steps into the security issues, which on the other hand makes usability less intuitive and maybe prevents people from using certain services. And I think Linda Machwitz here would like to hear your take on the German public services online, because I think it's a big issue in Germany, the data protection and the lowering of usability linked to it. How do you see this?
So, yeah,
Or are you
digitalization.
advocating in some sort on overcoming these difficulties?
Yeah, so digitalization of public sectors in Germany is really a big issue, and a project. I think the people are working since years, and I think they have to do a lot of work there. But so in Germany, you see that data protection is a really important issue for everyone. So for
which is good. It's
which,
not
yeah,
good.
absolutely good. So it's super. And you see, for example, when we do our like these coffee breaks, a question which occurs every time is when we, for example, present a technology or an AI assistant question, everyone has is, how about data protection? How is my data protected? So this is really in the heads of people in Germany. And this is really important, but I think so this standard, it's always a gold standard, and sometimes it would be maybe a good idea to go to a silver level, and not only to do like data protection by design, but also something like accessibility by design, so that you have to deal with both on the same side. Because I don't know if you ever tried to fill out these captcha things where you have to fill out these like letters and numbers and something like this to prove that you're a human being. So you get trouble with this, and people who are maybe blind or have other issues, it's even more complicated. And I would advocate for, of course, data protection. It's really important, but sometimes I think we want to overachieve to make sure that people are totally safe and their data is totally safe. But in the end, then people don't use it. So for example, we have like our passport, there's the online function from the passport. Nobody in Germany, or only a small amount, is using it, because the process of logging in and all of this, it takes literally 50 minutes, and that's why people don't use it. And so I would advocate
And
would
they
recommend.
have to send you a letter, but they send you a
yeah.
letter with your access.
Yes, you have a paper letter, you forget where you have it, there's a PIN code, and it's really, really it's hard to use the services then. But I'm optimistic. We have the digital ministry first time, and I think that our digital minister, he wants to improve this, and he wants to make sure that people can use digital public services, but in a way that they don't have to log in 5 times or 6 times and make sure that. So I think data protection is super important, but sometimes it's fostering the digital gap, and that can't be the case in the end.
Yeah, so maybe there is a bridge for you and for future dialogue, because of course in Catalonia we need to comply with the European standards of data protection as in Germany, but maybe some aspects are smoother. Considering usability, and or what do you think, David and Marta?
Probably we have the same standards in this here in Catalonia about security or difficulties to enter, but it's a balance between the security for users, even the security of this information, because we have a very important information of people and their needs, and also the usability, and to avoid the divide, because many things, we are managing many things in the digital world. So it's a balance between all of these. That, of course, that cybersecurity is probably the answer in terms of that the systems must be very secure, but also not provoking that people don't access to these services. I know that I'm not saying anything new probably, but I think that it's a balance between these two things. No, to think in terms of to make easier the things to people to access to digital services, but also knowing that we have very sensible information.
So that's like a central point as well in everybody's work. We're arriving, it's 1 o'clock now. We're arriving at the end of our webinar. I think we could talk for at least half an hour more, but let's stop here. Thank you very much for your participation 2 days before Christmas, and for your time to the public. Please share the link at YouTube. We will provide it to you afterwards. And so I just can say Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year 2026 with all these topics resolved, hopefully, and good conversations in the future. Thank you very much, Marta Campo, David Fito, and Linda Machwitz.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.